Good morning, students. I hope you are in lockdown in the home and I don't want to make you to be away from the subject due to this lockdown and this COVID-19, which is giving lot of difficulties to my students and lot of confusions and lot of worries, everything, how to I will finish my course, how I will remember whatever I studied. These all things are making you in a big issue, loss of year, loss of days and all these things. Anyhow, hope the best, give everything to the Lord. I hope everything will come true and best when you wait. But anyhow, no need to waste our time by means of thinking about that. At least we will have some discussion, not much. I have just taken one question from the essay question. Write in detail the preparation and standardization of Arista. Already these classes have been taken and it has been given, only the notes I have uploaded, I think. But still, if you get some videos or some knowledge about practical things, it will be more helpful for you to remember and to appear even it is delayed, the exam. But I hope the exams will not be much more delayed than the June. Most probably we hope that everything will be cleared by this end of this May. Anyhow, in May 15th, they say that their prediction is it will be a little more tough time. So all stay at home, be safe, and only for the emergency requirements you go outside. Otherwise, maximum try to manage what you have with you in home. And this is what today what we have taken is how to prepare an Arista and how to standardize them according to WHO or the good manufacturing process which we can follow. So I have taken some video also I have taken, how to prepare and how they are manufacturing an Arista, and even how you can prepare an amla, that means amla Arista, which we can prepare ourselves. That video also I got, it's very interesting actually, which we can prepare by using a clay pot, or you can say what we are using is that is barani, which we are using for keeping the most of the mango pickles and the salt water pickle for mango for and fermentation process which we are using even for preparing wine. So that type of vessels or even glass bottles can also be used for this purpose. So that when you see, you will get some interesting in this questions answer. So anyhow, first we will discuss about Arista and Asavas. Why I have taken only Arista? That both of them are similar. Only a small difference in Arista, you are preparing Kasaya and then you are adding the Jaggery and the supportive material for fermentation. But in Asavas, we are just adding the powdered crude material, crude drugs or the herbal formulation drugs which are comminuted or which we are size reduced or grinded, and then we are adding it and keeping for a period of time to complete its fermentation process. So when you see Asava and Arista are medicinal preparation, herbal medicinal preparation made by soaking the drugs either in powder form or in the form of decoction Kasaya. So powder form means we are doing in Asava, that is Asavas and Aristas we are using decoction, like that we are just differentiating. But both can be followed in a solution of sugar or jaggery for a specified period of time. So how long, what time, you have to, according to the experience and the practice they used to maintain. If you see the video, they used to say 41 days have to be kept. Normally when you are doing some Arista in the home, even they used to keep for 40, sometimes 41, sometimes there is some parameters which they are maintaining even in Ayurveda pharmaceutical industries. In Kerala we have the mass production of, especially you might have heard about the Ashwagandha Arista, or you can say there are many Aristas which is very famous, which we are even exporting, and also which is more handling throughout the country. We used to add them. So during this process, fermentation takes place and alcohol is generated which facilitate the extraction of active principles contained in the drug. The alcohol so generated also serves as a preservative. So you should know that what is the basic concept behind this Arista and also even Aswa. So even when you go for the preparation of that is Amla Arista in the home, they never add water. Directly they will put the Amla with jaggery and all our other ingredients, herbal spices and herbal drugs, which is grounded. And what happens, this fermentation process will take place in this period of time which you have kept, will remove all the active ingredients which is present in the particular active component. Amla means amla, which you have kept in the preparation. So the menstruum will pierce inside the cellular organisms or the natural fruits or the drugs which you have kept inside the chamber or inside the bottle or the big chambers which they have used for manufacturing in mass manufacturing. The active principle comes and the menstruum will take by dissolving it, and also this fermentation process will support to extract the complete active principle to the menstruum. That's what is happening. It's a natural process and it gives more helpful for the various diseases and various common problems which can be solved. And when you see, this is about, just I have taken to show you that traditionally how they are preparing in the home by using a small clay pot, and also you can see this is some example how they are using for not even grinding. This is small scale, they can use these type of equipments which picture was just attractive, just which made. And in large scale you can see there is a big vessel or a pan where we have to prepare the Kasaya, that means the extract, by heating before fermentation, and after preparing, adding all the jaggery and other constituents, and then you can go for this mud pots or metal pots or even clay pots which can be kept under the ground, or even it can be clothed by sack and tied with ropes, and in some cases they will seal with clay, and in the home we used to seal with some flour lac which is having maida or wheat flour can be used for these purposes. And when you come to the method of preparations, if you say preparation of Aristas, the drug is coarsely powdered and Kasaya is prepared. The Kasaya is strained and kept in fermentation vessel. Sugar, jaggery or honey as required is dissolved and boiled to prepare the Kasaya. The mouth of the vessel is covered with an earthened lid. The edges are sealed with clay, smear cloth, wound in 7 consecutive layers. A constant temperature is maintained for fermentation by keeping the container either in a special room, in an underground cellar, or in a heap of paddy. Paddy heap can also give a warm atmosphere, and it can very advantageous for fermentation. Temperature can be maintained by means of surrounding the vessel by paddy heap. I have shown in the picture also, you can show in the next slide. And after specified period, the lid is removed and the content examined to ascertain whether fermentation have been completed. That is also by natural method it is possible. By keeping a matchstick, if you go near, by carbonic acid, it will put off. That means fermentation is not completed. When you make the matchstick near again to the frothing area, the froth will not, or the matchstick will not hide, matchstick will not go down. That is why, that is also another one possibility which we can make by natural testing whether fermentation process is completed or not. So the fluid is first decanted and strained after 2 to 3 days. When the fine suspension particles settle down, it is strained in the bottle and it can be packed. And this is somewhat in Kerala we can see there is the mud pots and big vessels which they are kept for fermentation in a dark room, and it will be completely sealed, and also you have to be very careful about this. Rodents and other animals should not enter to that particular room or particular premises where you are keeping these products. And you can see this is in Germany, and this is what which I have shown in the yellow color. We can see the paddy heap. Inside also you can keep the vessels for fermentation, and this already we have seen this one under the ground. The half of the vessel will be inside that under the ground and sealed by means of the cloth. And this is ancient African fermentation technique, long mud pots, and these pots also can be used. This is an example which I have taken in Africa, how they are using mud pots, the long mud pots, which is technique used for African fermentation. And this is a video. Once which we observe this video, you will have some idea. That is, first we have to wash our materials and dry the materials of ingredients. You can see is drying of raw material ingredients, and we have to dry them After drying, you have to clean and then you have to dry. And for example, this is an Arista which is prepared from the leaves, runners, the brahmi, which you have taken and dried, and various other ingredients also dried completely. You can see the video. And after drying, grinding the raw material is very important into coarse powder and soak the ingredients in 8 parts water overnight, and next morning boil them in a low flame. And after boiling, you see properly Kasaya preparation. Sometimes if it is a volatile component, you have to make it coarse powder. That is one adjustment we can ground while grounding or size reduction. After boiling, you have to reduce the flame and you have to go for filtration. See how the filtration is done. A cloth will be wound, a filter cloth will be wound in a big vessel and the Kasaya will be poured over it so that a mass filtration can be easily done. So this filtration is very important, or you can go for a filter press if it is a big company. Then you have to go for jaggery, sugar, honey and other ingredients, other whatever the materials which we can add to them and keep for in a cloth, wound in a cloth, and you can pass there is carbonic acid gas out from the fermentation process. So during even the sack can be used for covering the vessel as we have shown there to maintain the temperature. This is how the natural testing, you see, it is put off. So the fermentation process is not completed. So again when he brings there, now the flame is still it is there. So fermentation is completed. So this is natural testing can also be done for any type of methods. And this is another one which is commonly in Kerala, which we are having the Arista of ashwagandha. And we are adding all these ingredients and how they are keeping it for, and you can see there, first they are preparing it by hot steam Kasaya, and after that they used to add, after preparing Kasaya, they are adding honey, jaggery and other all ingredients and kept for fermentation in large chambers. You can see the large chambers for more than 41 years, 41 days they used to keep, not years, 41 days they used to keep. And then it is filtered and checked for various standardization parameters according to the Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia guidance, and the standardization have been purely done and are packed in mass production by means of cleaned bottle and sealed, and they are packed in various cottons and exported. Not only in our country, it is exported to various other country also. And this ashwagandha arista is very famous, and also it is used for various ailments, especially you don't believe Parkinsonism disease persons also, they are very much confident to take this. And you see, this is what a amla arista how we can prepare in our home. Take 1 kilo of amla and take a clay pot, barani, or you can take a mud pot or a glass pot, can also be used, glass bottle. Clean, dry, take some cinnamon and cardamom, clove and even we can add some more spices, very little, and jaggery you have to crush and keep it in this form, by crushed only, by means of minimum crush. And then first you put jaggery, and then you add the spices, and then add little amla which you have kept, and then again you add jaggery. See that? And then again you add little spices what you have kept there, and then again you add amla. So this is by means of layering, the uniform layering of jaggery, spices, amla, jaggery, spices, amla. So like that you have to go on adding it and complete. So especially 1 kilo amla if you are taking cleaned, you have to take no water, dried one completely. There should not be any moisture. Jaggery should take also 1 kilo, or nearing to 1 kilo can also be added. So completely when you are kept, close it by the lid and wound it by a cloth and tie it with a thread. You can see just like this, close it by the lid and cover it by a cloth, and then you can tie it with a rope, and then you can keep it in a dark place. And you have to keep for 5 days and take it out and see that, remove it, because just you have to stir it, that's why. After 5 days, remove and see that you did not pour any water. You can see there is a liquid is there. See there? And amla is there. So what you have to do is take a clean, dry spoon or a spatula, wooden spatula, and stir it. And again keep the lid, nothing adding. Cover it by the cloth, tie it, and keep it for 41 days. Count it from the day of the beginning. The 41 days, keep it in the dark place. And after 41 days, bring it again, open it and see. The Kasaya is almost ready. See there? Now you can see the amla is shrinked. The constituents from the amla is completely extracted by the jaggery, by the fermentation process, and a very simple arista in a home you can prepare, and it will be very much helpful for children and adults and everyone. It will be useful for the immune power in this situation and to give good digestive. This is what which is filtered, and even the amla which you got after preparing this arista, the shrinked one, it will be tasty. And don't keep it outside. You can keep it in refrigerated, and you can take this daily 2 or once in a while. It is also a good vitamin C content. So arista is a very good simple procedure which we can prepare in the home and it will be useful. So this concept you can remember and you can make it as an examination point of view. You can write it how you can prepare simple arista and how the fermentation having the process and what all the standardization. Standardization also you can use your knowledge whatever we have done in the lab also. We have done alcohol content in arista, so that also can be added. Apart from that, organoleptic characters, chemical identifications and other tests can also be added as an important concept for standardization. So here you see preparation of asva also I have added in this class, but for the examination point of view you can add this also. It's not a mistake when you add a jaggery or a sugar is dissolved in required quantity of water, boil and cool. This is poured into a fermentation vessel. Fine powder of the drug is added to the container, which is covered with a lid and the edges are sealed with clay, smear cloth, wound in 7 consecutive layers. A constant temperature is maintained for fermentation by keeping the container either in a special room, in an underground cellar, or in a heap of paddy. The same thing what we have read in the Arista. After a specified period, the lid is removed and the content examined to ascertain whether fermentation has been complete. The fluid is first decanted and then strained after 2 to 3 days. When the fine suspended particles settle down, it is strained and bottled. That's what we have done. And you can see here, these all are the precautions. The filtered asavas and aristas should be cleaned without froth at the top when you are bottling. And it should not become sour. The preparation has the characteristic aromatic alcoholic odor. Storage, usually they should be stored in a well stoppered bottle or jars with cork, or even nowadays sealed properly. And marketed asavas, an example, if you see Aravinda Swam, Kumaraya Swam and Vasaka Swam, Arista you can see Abhyarista, Balarista, Dasmalarista and Vidangarista. So there are many aristas which are very commonly used by us. Just an example I have taken, like Vasarishta, Vasaka or Vasarishta or Vasasava. So Vasaka is one of the plant which is very commonly in our place and everywhere. Leaf is very long and green leaves which is having very good cough suppressant, and it is very important for it is an expectorant and it is having more bronchitis, asthma. All these patients can be used this Vasaka asva. So reduces the inflammation, swelling occurring through anywhere in the body, especially in bronchus. And it is used for treatment of bronchitis, asthma, upper respiratory tract infection, chest, congestion, cough, for example, hemoptysis and other laryngitis, phthisis, or all these things. For example, when your windpipe or respiratory tract, when it is infected, inflamed, by means of allergic conditions or any type of infections, can be easily relieved by means of Vasaka. Vasasin is a main constituent which is present. Vasasinone, which is present in this leaf. When you are extracting, they have all this type of congestions. Even some congestions, blockage can also be relieved it can be relieved by means of this action of this Vasaka. And the main ingredients of Vasaka are Vasarishta or Vasasava. Both of them are Arista and Asava is also available. So that is Adhatoda Vasica and water. And it is prepared by decoction, and 1,000 parts in 5,000 parts in water, and decoction can also be prepared. So even you can the other cinnamon and also wood flora futrica, that is also another preparation which I have added. But anyhow, we can prepare by Vasaka, you can remember, and how they are preparing. And you see there are many other ilachi, green cardamom can be added, and other materials which are added in the Vasaka also. When remember about the pipali, that is long pepper, and many other ingredients which is added in the constituents. And Aravinda Swa is I have added for, especially it is also used for many improving digestion, physical strength, poor appetite, intestinal gas, abdominal disorders. They are using this one. An example, you can go through it and you can add an example with certain ingredients. We cannot remember all the ingredients, but it is possible for you to remember terminalia, Arjuna, terminalia, Chabula, and you can see there are many ingredients which is very elitaria, cardamom, and you can see there is Amlica officinalis and wood flora, fruticosa, and selenium, teniflorium, and also you can see there are many trichosanthin of for example, it is also Diokia and Indigophoria tintonica. These all are, and licorice is very commonly we know Adimadram. So there are many ingredients which is very commonly used, and we can individually, students can refer what is its constituents and why it is added here and what is its main health benefits. All these things can be studied. And standardization procedure, just I am giving the names only. But we have to explain when you are writing in 10-mark question, it is better to have an explanation little, something 1 or 2 lines which can be incorporated. Color of the sample, odor of the sample, taste of the sample, determination of pH of the sample which we have done in the lab, and the physical determination like foreign matters and ash values, all ash values and extractive values and moisture content, and also physical constant like melting point, boiling point can also be determined, and the specific gravity which we have done for identification of content of alcohol which we have done, and also determination of alcohol content by means of spectroscopic method also can be incorporated. Chemical parameters, alkaloids means you can write about, there is drag and draft reagent test, Wager's test and Hager's test, so anything Mayer's test, and like that 1 test only I have added, so at least you can write about 1 test how to perform, and glycosides, flavonoids, Synodose test, phenolic test, tannins, steroids, amino acids, carbohydrates, these all can be incorporated. Even toxicological parameters also should be included for any type of herbal formulation, especially Arista and Asavas. So in that pesticidal residue, whether it is present or not, there is some procedures which you can add, including, or you can write 2 or 3 lines. Heavy metals identification, lead or whatever the heavy metals identification, whether it is present within the limit or it is according to the pharmacopoeia can be added. Microbial contamination, as we have studied about the streak plate and pour plate method, the microbes growth of keeping in the standard incubator for 24 hours in 37 degree plus or minus 0.5, maintaining the temperature. An incubator, you can find out the next day whether any colonies or growth present are there. So microbial contamination can also be identified in the product as well as the manufacturing area. These all are some of the standardization procedure which can be followed. So this can be incorporated in this question. So per day we can have a discussion like this, 1 or 2 questions and a mild and just a boosting. And so that I hope you will be live with my subject and also you will be live with your studies. Otherwise, it will be simply we are reading and we will become, only thing is we will put on weight and we will be getting depression. So no need to worry about that. Hope the best. All the best. Thank you. Thank you.